After a long and cold winter, spring is finally here. Time to dust off your camera and maybe invest in some new gear. Wow, it rhymes. This video is all about tripods. What to look for when you want to invest in a new tripod and what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to using a tripod. And because my knowledge when it comes to this subject is only limited, I brought a friend, Mike Muizebelt. You've probably seen him in another video on this YouTube channel, and together we are going to dive into the world of tripods. Let's go!
Okay, hi there. I'm going to talk about tripods today, and over the years I made a lot of mistakes when I bought tripods. I'm going to tell you about all the good things about tripods so you don't have to make the mistakes yourself. Currently I'm using the tripods of SIRUI. I'm a brand ambassador for them, and I'm choosing them because they've got excellent price quality, and I'm using tripods throughout their entire range. But I'm going to explain you in which situations I'm using the tripods. When do I use a smaller one, which is good for traveling, which can I use in the field, which is the most sturdy one. So stay tuned and we'll go through them.
They say gear doesn't matter. Well, guess what? If you have expensive gear and it breaks because your tripod is lousy, then your gear really does matter. In this video, we show you a part of the current lineup of SIRUI, and we give you tips and tricks for using your tripod so you get the most out of using yours. As goes with every piece of gear, choosing the right one depends on how and where you use it, so we will show you some different options.
I've used this tripod for about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years or so. And it has been with me all over the world. I've been with it through Iceland to Hawaii, Moscow and St. Petersburg, Thailand, Morocco. And once you have a tripod that you can trust and that you are used to, it really becomes part of your gear. And to me, it's hard to let this one go. It's not the most expensive one, it's not the best one, it's not the lightest one because it's not carbon fiber but it's aluminium, but I still really like using my good old trusty tripod. But today we are going to look what else is in the market.
As with most things in life, size does matter, also with tripods. So I'm going to quickly show you why I prefer some of them. The tripod we've got here is the smallest one. It's actually a perfect travel companion. It's very lightweight, you can hang it on your belt, and it's just basically if you want to have an extra hand. I use it to attach my field monitor, I use it to attach my video camera if I want to videotape something. Perfect little companion, doesn't weigh anything. This one is a new one for SIRUI, and it's got a very special triangular center column, and the center column makes the shape of the center column makes sure you can really fold it small. This way it fits perfectly on the side of your camera bag. It's got a newly developed head, and there's a unique feature which allows you to turn the camera without moving the ball head. The tripod we are here is my workhorse. It's one of the weatherproof series, which means I can use it in the sand, I can use it in the ocean. You see the working height as it is now is already high enough for me. I don't need to extend the center column. And apart from that, it's got a monopod on the side, so you can loosen up one of the legs and you can convert it to a monopod, which is very handy in crowded situations where you don't want to have 3 legs spread out. Now we're coming towards the Reporter series. Again, for me, excellent working height. There's no need for a center column. A center column for me is like an emergency plan. If I can't have enough height, I will extend the center column, but I prefer not to use them. Without the center column, you can also make sure that your tripod goes completely flat, so you have a very low working height. Of course, with a center column that's not possible. The head you see here is a special landscape head. It's a 4-way head, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what makes this one special later on. Then, one of my most sturdiest tripods, also from the Reporter series. It's a real workhorse, and when I'm working with longer and more heavy combinations, in this case a 500 millimeter, I'm attaching a gimbal head, and the gimbal head makes sure you've got very easy control of your longer combinations. And last but not least, the beast. Hey, that also rhymes. You see here on top of it my medium format camera. Of course, it's a little bit too high now, but most cameras can be controlled by your telephone. So in working situations like this, you get a bird's eye view and you can use your telephone to operate the camera. Those are my 6 tripods, and I'll use them, well, whatever I see the need. So from lightweight macro work to bird photography to specialized projects.
So what do you think about my tripod?
What do I think about your tripod? Well, the first thing I notice, it's aluminium, so it's a little bit more heavy than the ones I'm used to. The tripods behind us are all carbon, and as a traveling photographer, carbon is easier. It's also a little bit sturdier. It's got an Aqua Swiss head, of course, which is nice. It feels quite sturdy, so it's good support. It still looks nice after all the years of use from you, so I'm very impressed with that. This goes a little bit stiff. And what I always do, I extend the legs and I put them on the ground. And when there is play, and you've got considerable play, it means that there's vibration in your joints. And of course you want to have a tripod without any vibrations. So I would say, Niels, it's time to upgrade.
And with that little piece of comedy, it's time for us to change locations, because after all, we are photographers and we want to do some photography today as well. We are going to the beach, and as we move along the beach, Mike will provide us with some tips and tricks, some do's and don'ts when it comes to using tripods. So with that being said, let's go.
So different heights, different materials, different weights, but how do you narrow down to the tripod that really fits your needs? Well, there are some things to take into consideration. We can't tell you which one is best for you, because you can only decide that for yourself. We can, however, provide you with some insights that might help you in deciding which one is best for you.
We arrived at the beach and I want to continue talking about sizes. This time not the size about the animals behind me or the size about the tripods, but the size about the camera that you're using. The camera that you use decides for me which tripod I'm going to take. Currently I've got a smaller camera, APS-C sized, a wide angle lens, so I don't need to use my biggest tripod. I can choose one of the medium sized ones. And because we're close to the water, there's a lot of sand in here, I'm going to take the tripod from the weatherproof series. With the magic of video, I've now got a medium sized one. It's a W2204 and it's one of the weatherproof series. What makes it so special are the seals between the joints. Normally, and that's lesson 1, when I open my tripod, I want to do that as quickly as possible. So I twist it with one hand, I extract the legs, and while I work my way upwards, I've got it set up. The same for the other one, of course. Click, 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 and I'm set to go. When I'm placing the tripods, I pay special attention to the placing of the legs. I always place one leg further away from me and I make sure I've got an open space in front of me, so there's no risk in flipping it over while I move. Another tip when working in conditions like this is that you choose a tripod with legs that are closed underneath. This tripod has got closed feet, so no sand or seawater can enter the tripod from below.
Between the tripod and your camera is the piece that connects the two. And guess what? This piece also comes in different shapes, forms and sizes. We call it the head, and depending on the type of photography you do, you can pick a head that is suitable for you. Hey, that also rhymes. There are more heads on the market than we will show you today, like fluid heads for video, but the heads we have with us are the most common for photography.
What you see here is a ball head, and the ball head is one of my most versatile heads that I've got in my assortment. It's just basically a one-knob operation. You open the knob and your camera moves freely around. You make your composition, and once you're happy with your composition, you turn the knob. What's important with the ball head is that you choose one that supports the weight of your camera with the lens. If the ball head is not heavy enough, there may be some, I call it creep, but basically what happens, you think you fastened it, but your camera flips forward. So always choose a ball head that's sturdy enough to support your longest range. If you want to do some horizontal panning, there's a knot at the bottom, of course, and as an added bonus, on every side, and I'll move it to the side so you can point it, there's a friction knob. And this one controls the amount of friction you've got on your ball head once you've loosened it and turned it. A ball head is really fast working and I really love it. Difficult angles, just a flip on the screen. You make a composition, you turn it and it's set. Over here we've got the newly developed ST124 with the ST10 head. Also a ball head, but SIRUI has made some nice improvement of this one. There's two knobs on the side, which means that I can flip it over this direction. So doing a vertical shot is very easy with this one. And what's very neat with this one, when you've got the ball head secured, so the ball itself, the top can still move around. So this is very handy for panoramic images. Of course, also a friction knob, it became a little bit bigger. And what they also have got on this one is, let me see that, of course, the triangular head, which makes sure that it falls really flat. They keep improving their ball heads, so I'm very happy to see that this new type made it to the market as well. Then for the landscape photographers, a dedicated head. This is a four-way head, and why it's called a four-way head, of course, you've got the vertical movement or the horizontal movement, correct. If you want to include more of the foreground or more of the sky, you twist this one. If your horizon is not correct, you of course drift it to the left and the right. So it's very easily controlled, all the individual axes. And what they did with this one is very nice. You can also move the camera freely around on the top. That's why they call it a four-way head. And most other ones that I know from other brands have got three-way heads. So it's unique in its form and in its function. Basically, these are still capable up to 70 to 200 millimeters, 300 millimeters even. And now we come to the big one, the Wimberley Hat. This is the Wimberley PH10. It's basically the smallest one. I'm using it in combination with a APS-C camera, 500 millimeter lens. And the joy of using this one is that it's very easily to track your subject. Panning with this camera goes very smooth, very easy. If you want to secure the bottom, you just turn this one, it's locked. And if you want to control this one with one turn, it's also locked and it's very firmly attached. So the Wimberley for the longer ones where you want optimum control of your camera and the lens. And by the way, from the corner of my eyes, I'm seeing that Niels has taken hold of the mini tripod. That's doing its job and acting as a second hand.
Even though Mike is a brand ambassador for SIRUI and we only show you their line of tripods today, I am not here to tell you what brand you should buy. Just do your research on what brand offers the best price and quality. The only advice I would offer is don't cheap out, because a good tripod lasts a long time and you don't want it to fail when you use it. Believe me on that.
Last but not least, once you've chosen your tripod, take good care of it. And good care means also think about how you use it. What I always do when I'm going to the beach or sandy conditions, I extract my legs about 10 centimeters. When you put it down, your knobs and turning parts are not in the sand, not exposed to the elements. When I get back home, I always flush it just with clean water to get rid of loose sand and to get rid of salt water. That way your tripod will last longer. Once every year I open the joints completely, and then with the toothbrush I clean the parts completely, put some grease on it, and you can assemble everything back together. It's an easy job, won't take you more than 15 minutes. Should anything go wrong with your tripod, rest assured, SIRUI is giving a lifelong guarantee on their tripods. I never had to use it, just in case.
Alright friends, that's it for this video. I hope this video will help you in your search for the perfect tripod. And special thanks to Mike for sharing your knowledge when it comes to this subject, because I learned a lot, and I hope the people watching this video have learned a lot as well.
I hope so as well.
Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.